Please do not overwash the scalp. Do not overwash the scalp. The same way you don't overwash the skin, do not overwash the scalp. Do not overwash the scalp. Please, 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 please. People sometimes say, oh, but if I don't wash it, like she might not be comfortable. No, do not overwash the scalp. Please try. So hey guys, welcome back to Healing with AJ. My name is Ange, and yeah, if you're new here, thank you for subscribing to our channel. I hope that some of the tips I've shared so far have been helpful and you are navigating your journey and in managing eczema, as well as if you are also like us, have embarked on your journey of withdrawing your child from topical steroids, then wish you well. And please do not hesitate to ask me any questions. Please, 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 please. I just want to remind you that the skin is the largest organ, so this is not going to be a quick walk down the park or the road. Think of it as a marathon that you will see progress. You just have to be consistent and patient. So it's not easy, and there will be loads of ups and downs, loads of tears. Allow yourself to cry, because if I tell you how many times I cried on this journey, the TSW journey, or even just managing eczema in the last 2 years, the amount of research I've done to get to where we are now, the amount of things I've tried. But yes, so please do not, as uncomfortable as they are and as sad as you feel for them, there's no quick fix on this journey. Everything is just allowing time to heal them while you are also doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing, and just being consistent even on the hard days, even when you don't want to anymore and you want to give in to the temporary solutions. But this is one of the most asked videos. It's going to be about scalp eczema. So I did post a reel on my Instagram, I think on my TikTok as well, and I do believe there's a lady as well on here who asked about scalp eczema and how she finds that very, very distressing for her, watching her child just scratch their scalp. Now, those were one of the things that I also started to notice before we even identified AJ's allergies. While she was a baby, I think it was when I would eat eggs, I started to notice. Initially I thought it was cradle cap, like, you know, all babies get cradle cap. And I think obviously when you have babies, sometimes it's like, oh, try this shampoo, try that. So it's like instantly, I think, which makes sense now that she's obviously got a soap allergy. Things like shampoo that you put on a child's skin when you start out, they also further irritate the skin. So one of the things that I did was pretty much just, once it looked like cradle cap, but it wasn't cradle cap, because then obviously her ears as well, they were cracking. She would attack a particular area which was right at the back of her head, and as she got older, actually, like that patch kind of just trickled down into her neck. So to me it was just like, okay, this is scalp eczema. I think by like the time that she was kind of just decided let the hair all just go and it's just start afresh. So 10 months in, I had kind of shaved the hair off, not shaved completely, but yeah, just literally trimmed everything that was just all patchy. I started to use aloe vera. So aloe vera is got fresh aloe vera. I know a lot of people say use gel. I probably wouldn't recommend it, but I would advise you to use the fresh aloe vera leaf. Please, please, please get it. I use this on her skin. I use this on her scalp, as you have seen, but you just have to be consistent. This is on my weekly, if not every other week list, and every time, I would say, since she was a baby, I would say, and that's when she was like more in an inflamed state on her scalp, I would rub the aloe vera leaf gel on the problematic area, in fact the whole scalp, and then I would just afterwards just go in with a olive oil and castor oil, rub it in my hands together, and then just massage once the gel had dried on her scalp, and then I would massage her scalp. You want to keep it very, very simple. So again, with the castor oil, with the olive oil, like I would say with everything else, test patch and see if they are having any issues with that. But if not, then you can carry on with that. Alternatively, you can maybe also try out with like castor oil, coconut oil, and olive oil together. And again, like rub it in the scalp in the morning, rub it in the scalp at night before they go to bed. I didn't use a bonnet. I know people use bonnets and the babies manage to keep it on, or the kids manage to keep it on. When I noticed that wasn't working for us, I got us a silk pillowcase. So she's always had a silk pillowcase. To this day she has a silk pillowcase. I would say that she didn't start using a bonnet until like last the last 2 years, and even that, it's hit and miss. It's sometimes she wakes up and it's off. So, but at least all her pillowcases are silk. So get you a silk pillowcase. You don't, as if your child obviously is not allergic to silk, then yeah, even then it's even better as well, because at least if you've moisturized their face as well, you don't have to worry about shedding the hair. Like cotton, for me, what I found is like she found relief when she had cotton sheets. So even if they're not on a pillow, you can still just put this silk pillowcase just on the side where the heads are. So I know when she was relatively younger, she used to turn on her back and she would literally like just be rubbing that patch of our hair, that area on the cotton bed sheet. So if you have noticed it, you can ultimately, I would say, change to a silk pillowcase. If you can get one, then I would say that. So again, get you a fresh aloe vera leaf. The other thing that I would say is try and keep very like shampoos and things like that. You want to test batch and find what works for you. I'm very big on like once I find something that she's not reacting to, I'm well and happy. So another way that I would say I use the aloe vera is I make masks with it. Talk about the shampoo after. I also do masks with like hair masks with once her hair started to grow a little bit more and I could like put rubber bands in it, I introduced masks with the aloe vera. So I would always, when I take a hair out, before you take the hair out of any like style that you have, I would say always put the aloe vera leaf, let that be the detangler that you're using. So spray the hair a little bit with water. You can also add some olive oil in the water bottle, spray it, take down the style that you had in the protective style that you had in the hair, and then use the aloe vera leaf to detangle the hair, the gel to detangle the hair. Once you do that, once you get into that routine of doing that, well and great. But again, the aloe vera will help. It will help with that itchiness that they feel. I know, like, I would advise obviously to like wash it thoroughly, because sometimes, you know, when you apply the aloe vera leaf on the skin and it gets a little bit itchy at first. So to kind of like help with that, please wash it first and then cut it in pieces and then apply it to the skin. So yeah, masks that I would say that I do are, I would get the aloe vera leaf, wash it, cut it in pieces, get some oats if your child also has really itchy scalp. So that's another thing. So during TSW, she did start to have like really itchy scalp again, but even when she was a baby. So get some oats, not too much. Again, just use the quantity that you need. So get the aloe vera leaf, get some oats, put it in a bowl, put some honey in there, or you can just wait actually after you've boiled them. You can boil it, a little bit of water, boil it down, and then strain it and put it on the scalp afterwards. You can also add avocado in there. Avocado is really good for nourishment, but also softening the hair, but it's also great for the scalp and the skin. Also include a lot of avocado in their diet, which is another thing that I do. Fish oils, if the child is not allergic to fish, and avocado, include that a lot in the diet. Like, I make sure that there's always avocado in the house. I think she has avocado, I would say at least 3 to 4 times a week. So that's how much I would also say, like, what they're eating as well is also imperative, which takes me back to what I initially said in the beginning, making sure that your child's iron is not iron deficient or vitamin D deficient, because that can also stunt the hair growth. So you want to make sure that all of those things are within range, because it's one thing to apply things topically, but you also want to make sure that you are nurturing them from the inside out in the same way. So that's another way. Another way that I would do a mask would be same, again, in the same way, taking the aloe vera leaf and putting it in a blender, putting some avocado in there, get some honey in there if you have some honey, which I do have honey all the time. She doesn't really have sugar in her diet, so honey in things like that she has in her breakfast or her teas. Yeah. And if your child's not allergic to eggs, then well and good, you can add some eggs in it. But if your child's allergic to egg, then that's an egg-free recipe that you can use, which we have used all throughout. Aloe vera leaf, yeah, fresh aloe vera, avocado. You can add some bananas in there as well. Bananas are also great for hair and the scalp. And then you can obviously just put some olive oil, some coconut oil. Yeah, you can obviously try and get 100% coconut oil, be great. And olive oil or avocado oil, whatever you can get as you know, just make sure that whenever you're doing a mask, you have oils in there, and then just blend that and apply that to the skin. You can leave that to sit in the scalp or on the scalp and the hair for a couple of I would usually stretch it to an hour, to be honest, because her hair is very, very thick. She's retained her hair. She's always retaining growth. There's no breakage. We've not really experienced that since I've been consistently doing this. So you obviously want that to be the goal, but personally for me, the goal has always been healthy scalp. A healthy scalp is so important, because you can have your hair can grow long, but if the scalp is not healthy, then and your hair is not as thick as it should be, then of course it's necessarily not going to sustain it. So like I said, make sure that they are also not iron and vitamin D deficient, to make sure that they are internally also okay in order for their hair to grow well. Yeah. And I think you can steam. If you have like a steamer, you can, steam the hair. So I started to steam her hair, but I would say about 2 to 3 years ago. Now I do steam a little bit, or I have like a heated cap that I put on because I want the mask to get into her hair. And yeah, you could do that as well if you please. And also, yeah, if like, not obviously making sure that the steam is not too close. Like if you're steaming, making sure the steam is not too close to the scalp. You just want to make sure that, the hair follicles are also absorbing the hair mask well. Moisturize so that when you are combing it, it's soft and manageable, and you don't want to cause them any distress in the process as well. So I would say that's like ways that I use the aloe vera, but honestly, if anything, even when I would say if you're just noticing the child just has every day, you can cut a bit of the leaf and get the gel and apply it to their problematic area. It doesn't have to be a whole scalp. It could just be if you want to really treat the area that is struggling or they're struggling with, just cut the leaf, a little bit of the gel daily, and apply it to that area. Do that with her skin. I was doing that when she was definitely struggling with the scalp eczema. But I would say, when did I see a change? Once I started doing that, I started to see a change in her scalp as well as her hair growth. I would say like 6 weeks. 6 weeks, I noticed that she wasn't itching her scalp as much as she was before. I was using aloe vera. She was a lot more calmer during the day. She was less distressed about that particular part of her scalp. So yeah, that's one thing I can honestly say is I have been consistent with when it comes to the aloe vera. So, and now I don't obviously do that as often anymore because she doesn't really have problematic scalp areas where her scalp is. But to this day, every wash day is like there is aloe vera on the scalp. So I apply that on the scalp. When we take the hair down, then it will be in a mask, or I could apply it to the scalp as I detangle up to the scalp and her hair once I'm detangling it, and then she'll still have the mask in as well. And yeah, I think that's one thing. Yeah, that's it for the aloe vera. Another thing that I would encourage you to do is another thing that I would do in between. So for example, if the hair is not as long yet, or you don't have it in a very long, like a long term, please do not overwash the scalp. Do not overwash the scalp. The same way you don't overwash the skin, do not overwash the scalp. Unless, I don't know, they're playing in sand and you kind of felt like you needed to, take that out. You will have to if it's sand. Or if it's food, and you can just kind of like clean it a little bit. But do not overwash the scalp. Please, 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 please. Like, and I think it will make things a lot easier for you. I know people sometimes say, oh, but if I don't wash it, like she might not be comfortable. No, do not overwash the scalp. Please try, and I would say for the most, once a week. Even that is a stretch, to be honest. Once a week. When her hair was really, really short, then yes, we used to wash once a week. But when she started to retain, when she had some growth and I could put a rubber band in, I moved that to every 2 weeks. So you want to leave the scalp, moisturize it, hydrate it. You can hydrate it in the week, like just get some water with some castor oil, any castor oil of your choice. Obviously, if you can get it, like the pure stuff from Jamaica or wherever you're from, then I would advise that you get it. But we've been using that for some time, and sometimes when my friends travel to Jamaica, then they bring me the real stuff, which I tend to use on her skin more than her scalp. But I feel like this is also a great product that you can use. Put that in a water bottle, and before I also used to put shea butter in the water bottle with the aloe vera oil. with the olive oil, and I'll use that as a spray. Like every other day I would spray the hair with that water and literally just massage the scalp. You can get the gel before you, or even if before you have massaged the scalp with the oil, you can massage it and you can literally just leave it alone. Don't overwash. Now on to the topic of washing, I would advise you guys to never just put shampoo directly onto the scalp. I wouldn't do that. I would not do that. Don't do that. I have not done that. So I would advise you not to do that. But again, if you've already put the base, which is you've already protected the scalp with the aloe vera, I would say you want to mix the shampoo, a little bit of the shampoo with the conditioner. I'm very, if I find something that works, guys, I stick to it. So again, with shampoo, it's the same thing. You might just be thinking it's just shampoo, but you want to go for things that are very, very gentle to the scalp. So whichever one is of your choice, and you have test patched it by now, I'm assuming, or if you haven't, what I have stuck with for the last 6 years, almost 7, is Child's Farm. Okay, these two products, I usually basically get these two products. I would a little bit of the shampoo and a lot more conditioner, and I just go in and I just try and wash or massage the scalp and wash it that way. I don't leave it on the scalp for that long because I don't really think the scalp is that dirty or the hair is that dirty. So no matter how much you might, people like, no, it's dirty, you gotta wash it clean. And it's not that. I don't think it's that dirty. So I do tend to be very, very gentle with the shampoo, but like I said, I never directly put the shampoo on the scalp. I mix it with the conditioner, a lot more conditioner than shampoo. Mix it together, put it on, massage. You're still gonna get that same lather anyway. Wash the hair, brush it out, rinse it out, good to go. Okay, good to go. So her hair to me is never dry. Once she's had the masks on, or once she's had the aloe vera as a pre-wash, she's really good. So that's another thing that I would say that you should make note of when it comes to the scalp and conditioners and shampoo. So yeah, try and minimize the shampoo. Another mask that I would say is really good, really good, is the Indian clay mask. This is another thing that we were also doing. I would say this, and mix that with the apple cider vinegar, and apple cider is also really good at attacking infections on the skin and even the scalp. So what you want to do is, sometimes, if for those that really want to wash, so let's say you washed the hair last week and you're still also noticing inflammation throughout the week, regardless of you applying so you want to avoid obviously infections. Okay, so again, wash once a week if the hair is still very short and it's still quite if the hair is still the following week, or if you're washing every other week or once a month like I am at this point. I always say, or sometimes in the summer I wash every 2 weeks because her hair is out, it's not really in protective styles. But even when her hair is in protective styles, most of her protective styles are very, very low. They're not manipulated as much, so I can still go in and wash. But it depends. Like now she's going to swimming, so if the shower cap falls up, then I tend to give her a wash. But what I would say is apple cider, a good apple cider rinse. Even if you just put this in a spray bottle, spray it all over their head, leave them to sit out for about 10 minutes, then you can go in and rinse the hair out. You can add aloe vera you can add olive oil to the scalp as well before you do the rinse, or you can do it after. It's up to you, after you rinse out the apple cider. But I would say it's good to kind of also have the apple cider vinegar rinses on their scalp before washing their scalp, especially if they are still having like an inflammation. So again, guys, like I would say, please make sure that the scalp eczema will continue to show up on the child's skin. So I would always say priorities first, eliminate whatever is in their diet, because you could do all of this, but if things are still in their diet, then you are basically going to be going around and around in circles, in a cycle that you just cannot aid in any way, regardless of what you're going to be doing. So yes, so make sure that they are not vitamin D and iron deficient, and make sure that you are eliminating things out of their diet that they should not be eating. Okay, whatever intolerances they have, even it may contain. Like, think about that. So you want to make sure that the only way you're going to see if your child is no longer in a state of inflammation is if you take those things out of their diet, so that you're able to gauge. Okay, yeah. So another thing that I would say is like a moisturizer that I would do on the scalp for us during the week was mixing Blue Magic and Sulfur. Yeah, the Sulfur Kids. But I haven't been able to find this in a long time, so I'm not sure if there's still Sulfur 8 Kids. I'm not sure if they're still doing this, but to be honest with you, when I stopped finding it in COVID, I then started using the older one, like the regular adult version. So you could also try and look at it. And you can also, with the Do Grow, the Mega Long, mixing those 3 products together with the castor oil, you can use that. That can be your daily moisturizer as well. Or yeah, so just to kind of like see if it will boost. But also Sulfur 8 is really good for dandruff. So if you're, you know, like, it's also like really good at treating the dry scalp, which I also found that very, very helpful when we started using it. Another way to increase sulfur is through diet. So making sure they start eating a lot of onions. That's another way. That's another way that you can increase sulfur. If maybe you test patch this on the scalp or on the skin and basically they don't agree to it, so increase a lot of onions in the diet. But yeah, I would say that is pretty much it for this. Like I said, guys, try and keep it as simple as you can, and don't overwash the scalp. Don't overwhelm it with moisturizers, creams, oils, all of that. Yeah, just try and keep it very, very simple, so that you're not consistently overwhelmed. Like I said, yeah, in the water bottle, bottled water in your water bottle, have bottled water in there before you add the castor oil and shea butter if you want to. If not, you can always just get the shea after you've put the castor oil and water. Then you can always get maybe some shea butter and just rub that on the scalp as well, and just massage the scalp. Try and do the massages. They really do work. So yeah, I hope that was helpful, and I hope it answered any questions. But please comment, subscribe, and share our page, and I hope I can share any more. Yeah, comment if I missed anything, or if you have any questions to ask that I could answer in the comments. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.